look, we're fair market value. Everything we do is fair market value. There's never any questions on us being overly expensive or overly cheap. And by being able to do that, we go, okay, great. So we've expanded. And how do we then continue to expand and support these clients from going all the way through from, well, I've agreed the deal, but I've used my solicitor and my solicitor's failed, or my broker can't get me finance, or my builder's pulled out and now it's cost me a lot more. And so how do we take somebody and go, okay, well, we can offer them a fair market value product, but by doing so we actually help deliver that deal and reduce the fallout rate, reduce the amount of money wasted, reduce the losses for the investor. And it was then a case of going, okay, well, what's the problem children, right? Who's needed in the process from agreeing a deal through to managing it and getting revenue through the door.
Well, I think this is it, isn't it? It's always, a deal's only as good as the weakest link.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately with property, you do need a lot of people to help you with one property. Now that might be a sourcer on the outset, a landlord, the agency that's then got that through, a broker getting you the finance, you got the legals, you got the valuers, you've got the property management team, you might even have the refurbishment and everything else. And that is 7 people that without even starting before I've got the keys.
Yeah.
And I think that is the problem, is that some people get so worried with all of that, whereas actually what happens if you end up going to different companies the whole way through, you end up only having to liaise yourself, and that's what's stressful for landlords, I think, and for investors. Take that away and have a sourcer that can help you organise that through one-stop shop through all of it is kind of where we thought about putting everything else together.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at it, I think one of the biggest things that holds a new investor back, is their concerns about the complexity of the entire transaction, and they're worried about, well, how does this work, and who do I speak to with this, and are they going to be any good, and am I going to get screwed by the builder, and is the solicitor going to be able to help me, and am I going to be able to get finance? And there's this whole
all those questions. It's like going through your head, and that's just on one.
Exactly. So you get a lot of newer investors. They're very much on the fence, and it takes a lot of conversation, reassurance to get them to a point where they realize, actually, you know what? Like, we've got this. It's okay. We'll help you, and we'll support you all the way throughout, because we're well versed at this, and we'll make sure that from point of yes, I want this deal, all the way through to management and money in the bank, we'll support you through that whole process. And I think the ability to answer a lot of those questions from the get-go and have a lot of the people in-house to an extent to give them that support so that they feel reassured that it's all in one place. I think it's been a real game changer for us, to be honest.
Yeah, I think as well as something you mentioned a couple of months ago while we were putting things together is to have those, whether it's a broker that's now our brokers, whether it's talking to our lawyers, they have done this before. I.e., they have spoken to each other before. They're a known entity together. They know how each other's work. So having that and having someone else start from this right at the beginning, it's not another broker that has never spoken to this lawyer, and I don't know how they work, and I don't know what their expectations are. So actually, you've taken away that complexity by having all of that in-house. They work every day together, and they're incentivized in a way, because we managed to do that with the way that we put the businesses together, is that they actually want these to go through, or want to be problem solvers, not problem creators.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's like anything, right? And people always say you get what you pay for, but I always find in the property industry that's not necessarily the case. I know a lot of very expensive builders that are terrible, but I know a lot of fair price builders that are fantastic. I know a lot of very expensive solicitors that are terrible, but I know a lot of fair price solicitors that are very excellent.